Hey, this is Kate Stillman with yogahealer.com, and this is the free online webinar for yoga teachers and wellness experts and healers. Are you meeting the needs of the changing market? Find out how, and that's what we're diving into in this next hour. So just take a moment and really ask yourself, what brought you to the call today? And then write that down, because we want to know your why. We want to be really clear on what you're, just whether you're here out of, desire, out of like fear of being left behind, like whatever it is, and just allowing that to be honest. And why are you here? Why are you spending an hour of your time today talking about what's happening for yoga teachers, what's happening with the next level of evolving career, what's happening with the emerging market, and just have that really clear. It's so worth it to do this. Just take a moment and write it down. And I'll tell you why I'm here. In the meanwhile, I'm here because this is a topic that's just near and dear to my heart. I was a yoga teacher and an Ayurvedic practitioner. So I started out doing that in 2001. I had those certifications, and that was the work that I was doing in the world. And as time went on, I started to pay a lot of attention to the evolving market. I started to get really, really interested in business courses and online and sales and marketing, things that like most Ayurvedic practitioners and yoga teachers find really uninteresting, right? But I was like, wow, I really want to know all this stuff too. And so what brings me to this call today is there's just an amazing gap of knowledge in most of the people we talk to at yogahealer.com and yogahealthcoaching.com, the healers and the yoga teachers who are really struggling to actually meet the needs of the emerging market. The market is always emerging, right? Change it's a law of change. We all know the law of change as yogis and those of you here. I see there's a few Vaidyas on the line, the Ayurvedic wisdom leaders. Many of you may be body workers or nutritionists or fitness instructors, right? You may have a mix of modalities. And there's something about you and your desire to help people that brings you here today, right? And there's a sense too that just because of the title of the marketplace, the title of the webinar today, that it's about the marketplace. And that would scare a lot of people off, but not you, and you're here. So there's something in you that desires to know what's going on in the marketplace, and my guess is to exchange more value in the marketplace, to actually increase your earnings and increase the experience that's being exchanged with your present clients and also with future clients. If that resonates, press 1. I just want to get a quick glimpse from the peeps. Press 1 if that resonates on your keypad or your Skype pad. Press 2 if you're here for some other reason, and that'll just let me take your pulse as a group and see what's going on. Okay, good. Lots of ones. And that's good, because that just means like we're in this conversation together, and we're curious about this as a community. I don't see any 2s. So good. We're all here in this boat together. So what I'd like to talk about next is really this whole idea of, if the market is constantly operating under the law of change, how do we keep our finger on the pulse of it? And let's just talk about what happens when that's not happening. I think there's a few key problems. I'm going to direct this towards yoga teachers, but if you're more on the healer side, it's the same deal. It's like just translate it for yourself, and I'll try to do as much translation as I can into that slightly different market. So one of the first problems is that as the markets evolved, a lot of the skills that we learned in our trainings, in our teacher trainings and in our practitioner trainings, they didn't really, in some ways, keep pace with the actual market. They may have kept pace with what to do when you actually have clients or students in the room. Right? Often that's that did keep pace. Like once you have a client or student, like you know what to do with them to help them get better. But this whole idea of how do you get people in the room, that often wasn't addressed. And now what we see too, like what's happened in the marketplace, especially for yoga teachers, is when, for many of us, like when we started doing yoga, there was a lot less free online yoga. And the free online yoga that may have existed was really not very good. And now it's really good, or it's it's really inexpensive if it's not free. Like for $20 a month, right? The exchange of 2 yoga classes in a rural area or 1 yoga class in an urban area, right? That now instead of just getting 1 or 2 classes, the person can basically take yoga every day in the privacy and serenity of their own home, right? And these programs are getting really good. These online programs are really getting good at building community. So even that feeling of like, oh, but they come to class for community, people are actually feeling more and more interconnected in community online, right? And so this is kind of a big deal. Press 1 if this seems like a problem for you in your work. Like you're just noticing that students are coming to class less often, or that it just seems like it's just hard to compete with Yoga Glow, or it's hard to compete with Yoga Today, or I use the Daily Burn. Is it hard to compete with the Daily Burn? Press 2 if you don't think your clients or students are in this, are really in competition with you for this. Yeah. Okay, good. So what we're seeing is that many of you press 1, many more. We're at least, actually now it's evened out. So this is interesting. So more of you now have pressed 2 than 1. So that's interesting to take pulse. Now, it'd be good to find out the information on that, really, right? For you to actually talk to your clients and students and know if that is true or not. And I would just ask them, like, are you using an online program? Okay. Let me ask too here, and this is really going to be, like, we are going to do a lot of this. I really want to know what's going on without necessarily interrupting the call to talk to a lot of people. Who wants to make more money? Like, who is that one of the biggest concerns that led you here? Press 1 if you want to make money. Press 2 if that's not why you're here. Because I just want to make sure. And honestly, like, I'm not going to say names, so don't, like, and I have no issues with making money too. You guys should know this. Like, I'm all for it. Okay, great. A lot of people here want to make more money. Great. All right. Sweet. Good. Okay, so another issue, besides that, like, what we're doing is for actually in many ways is inexpensive online, or maybe even free online. A lot of the value that we've been trained to provide is on the internet. Is one of the second things is that as we get more advanced in our practices, and I tend to attract people that are hardcore, that are really, it's not like you just did like a weekend yoga training and then, drop in class once a week. Like, the people that are in my community and tend to be attracted to my calls have a ton of training, and it's over years. In one of my courses, I think it was in Yoga Health Coaching and in the Yoga Healer Business course, we did a poll a couple weeks ago, and I just asked people how much they had invested in time in money and trainings over the course of their wellness career. And we were in the $10,000 to $50,000 range. No one seemed to have invested less than $10,000. Now, we often also are, like, really attracted to continuing our training, right, with the best teachers that we can afford, or that we can bring into our lives, that we can attract. And what can happen in this is the more experience we get, the further we may be from the people that need our help the most. Okay, so the further on this wellness trajectory we get, the more experienced we get, the further we are from where the median in our communities is at. Okay, and this is a problem not just for us trying to exchange more value in the marketplace, but, like, this is a problem for everybody. Like, this is a problem for our culture at large. Right? This is a big problem in terms of how culture and society moves forward, how we make decisions as global citizens for our shared resources, right? How we protect our bodies, how we protect the planet, how we enhance our bodies, how we enhance the planet, right? That it's an issue that the well in our society are getting more well, and that many are being sort of just left behind or ignored. And one of the biggest issues I see with this, and I see this mostly in marketing, is that most yoga teachers and wellness experts market to their peers. They market to people that are already pretty darn well. And they have no idea how to market to, which one of my coaches calls the fat, old, sick, and Christian, which is like the majority of people in the Western world, right? And so, it's a big problem. The more experienced we get, the further we are from being a beginner. Many of us maybe even started the path not really at beginner level either. Maybe we had, parents that were feeding us a whole food diet or had healthy routines. I was raised in a very athletic household. That definitely helped me know that like every day I got to exercise. There's no doubt about that in my family. So many of us started also with a leg up from where the median of the marketplace is now. Like there's different, statistics and around exercise, and like most people don't enjoy exercising. If I were to poll you, and I'm not going to, but most of you do enjoy exercising. Like you love it. Like you love being in your body, you love doing yoga, you love going for a walk, you love spending time in nature, right? We are not the median. All right. So another problem is that we may be trying to exchange value in the marketplace through doing trainings, teacher trainings, retreats, offering more classes, offering more sessions, packaging our work together. But what happens is that people are less likely to commit. Everyone says they're too busy to commit. So the other thing that's happening is because of the online marketplace, now the local market and the online market are both more and more competitive, right? There's more and more out there competing for our attention and for our clients and future clients or students and future students' attention every day. And so when we see this, it's like everyone has this sort of information overload. People are increasingly exhausted, overstimulated, and simply doing too much. And how can we get them more committed to your work? As you know, it'll help them. And that's really what we're going to get into here is, how do we handle like these three problems? And one of the problems is that like there's just a lot of competition happening online. The second is we may have really lost pace with where the market's actually at. And the third is that people are not that interested in committing, like everyone's overscheduled. And how do we get people to shift their attention to commit to their health goals or what's really most important in their life, whether it's their health goals, their wealth goals, their relationship goals, and all of these areas. And in many ways, we can actually help people get clear on and get centered in. All right. So let's really get into these things and how we're going to move from here. And just an FYI, at the end of this workshop, I'll make you an offer to let you know how I can help you go further if you're interested. I know, I try to deliver as much value as I can in these webinars, and afterwards, many people are like excited and I call it sparky. You get a little sparky, like, ooh, little flame's been lit. And so if you want to know more, I'll tell you the next step. I know I needed a lot of help along the way to get to be where I'm exchanging value in the marketplace. Just in terms of the actual revenue that I'm exchanging at. And I love it. Like I love making a great living. I love having enough money to employ people that are awesome and want to help the brand and grow the tribe and all that. Many of you might just really be here because you're trying to break six figures, or you're just trying to get to 50,000 a year, or you just want to shift the way that you're spending your time because you feel like you're not leveraging your time that well. So for any of those reasons, being here, or you might just want to know like, hey, what's next? And what should I be thinking about next? Financially, I'm fine, but I really want to know, keep my finger on the pulse and know what's next. So if any of that applies to you, I do indeed believe you're in the right place. All right, so let's talk about what the market wants now. My sense is what the market wants now is a life-changing experience. Like people don't want a pill in a bill. Like even the median of the market is really kind of gets that like corporations have some evilness in them, right? That there's a little bit of like just in it for the money. And people really want an experience. They want to have a different reality, right? Now, even the median of the market wants this, right? Even the fat, the sick, the tired, the just the overstimulated, people that are just running around trying to keep up, exhausted, they want a life-changing experience. If I look at what the market wants, I have 5 particular components of what the market wants now. And if anyone wants to see these slides who's live on the call, you can go to facebook.com/yoga healer and click on the slides, and you'll see some slides where all this stuff's written down. And you can just, download that with us. It might help. The market wants results. Like people want to shift. And what shift they want, we're going to get into how to discover that. And that's how you really start to know what's going on. Okay, but we're just going to do a quick overview here. 1, results. 2, connection. And the reason so many people press 2 when I asked before about, hey, how many people feel like they're competing with Yoga Glow? And honestly, I think a lot of you are on denial. Sorry, but I do. But I think you press 2 is you know that your client wants connection, right? And there is a deep truth to that. And I really honor that as well. And it's when we get right down to it, the way that you're going to exchange value and more value over time is by offering more levels of connection and more levels of connectivity. Okay, that you're going to help people stabilize at a higher level of consciousness, whether that means that they're moving their bodies differently or for the better, if they're eating for the better, eating differently, right? If they're connecting in community with a different rule book. This is mostly what, in my courses, we spend a lot of time with this, like how to create our own rule book for how we want to connect to up-level our field of connectivity, right? That when we start to see people are starved for connection. And we can also see this in terms of the pharmaceuticals, right? At the median, we see the anti-anxiety meds and the antidepressant meds at, unprecedented rates of high. We're drugging our kids with these drugs, right? Whereas when we really get down to it, how much does improved connectivity, physical tech connectivity, and then interpersonal connectivity, how does that change the game? And most of us have experienced that it's a massive game changer. Okay, the third thing the market wants now is a good container, right? A good, safe container to change. Building a container in which people can go through a deep transformation, that's now part of your job description. If you want to exchange more value in the marketplace, like period, exclamation point. Guidance. They want a guide. They want someone to say like, hey, this works. Come with me. I'm going to get you there. Just like guiding someone I live in the Teton Mountains in the summer, and there's mountain guides everywhere. In Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there's just like the place is crawling with mountain guides. Why? Because the mountains are like really tricky and pretty dangerous out here. You do not want to get caught on the Grand in the afternoon ever in the summer. Like you need someone to tell you the rules, like how to navigate terrain that you've never gone through or experienced. Right? And so when we get that our job in order to get people the results that they're not currently experiencing is to guide them to those results, right? Create a container to increase the connection so they can get there faster. This is exactly what we have to be offering, and we have to be articulating. Okay, the fifth thing is an information filter. There's way too much information. There's way too much information overload. It's stressing people out. In Ayurvedic terminology, it's the information overload it's like incinerating ojas, right? It's just like, you could even say it's like blowing ojas away, right? Whether it's fiery consumption or airy consumption, there's just too much. So we get now that what people really want is they want to meet you and have a life-changing experience. So how are we going to create that? And how are we going to create that in a way that's original to you and authentic to you? Because if we do that, there's going to be more of you to offer and exchange value in the marketplace. All right, so let's look first at, and you might want a pen and paper here. So if you're doing something else, stop doing something else and just do this and you're going to get a lot more out of it. So number one is, what is the urgency you notice in the marketplace? Like, what do you notice? And it's also like what like jerks your irk, what rocks your boat? Like, what do you see and you're like, oh, I could help that person, but the person's not asking me for help, right? Like, what is that? And I actually want to hear from the peeps. So if you want to share what that is, if you can condense it down into 10 words or less, that would be awesome. Press 1. And we can go from there. About 40 people live on the call, so we should take advantage of this. Yeah, Shannon.
Yeah, I want to help people who are victims of domestic violence, abuse, or different kinds of abusive backgrounds, because that's why I got into yoga. And I know it can help, but I know you don't think yoga can help with that when you're just coming out of that.
Great. So can you distill that into just a few words? Like yeah. Is that your...
So therapy, yeah. I guess. Therapy for abuse victims.
Okay. Now, you guys, this is pivotal. I want you guys to hear what I do here. So, and I just am so appreciative, Shannon, of you being the first person to raise your hand. I love action takers. what is the urgency you notice in the marketplace? And so if we take that and we change your language around it, the urgency you notice in the marketplace is a need for women who have experienced domestic violence to receive what, like mind-body therapy or something like that?
Right.
Okay. So we just switch the words around, right? But it's important for you to switch the words around, because then those women can find you. And maybe it's really the urge that you're noticing is for women who've been victims of domestic violence to heal through mind-body therapy, or to experience deep self-confidence and self-love. And maybe that's it. And we don't even have to tell them how, right? We could even leave off the how we're going to do that. But we're just noticing that you are aware of an urge in the marketplace, that there's an urge. And you guys, the thing with the word urge is there's it's like, you can feel it. Like urge and surge are kind of close, right? Surge has urge in it. So there's this urge. Urge creates urgency. It creates an urgent experience, an urgentness. And it's a feeling, the way that I experience it in terms of spirituality is the evolutionary impulse. It's the urge of evolution of human culture. It's the urge to evolve, right? So you're seeing this urge as, wow, women who have been abused, who have been beaten physically, emotionally, mentally, in some way, have just been, really just, horrible things have happened, for them to heal through integrating mind and body, or through learning self-love through bodily practices, or something like that. Does that resonate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Alina.
To reduce toxicity in your mind, body, and spirit, to live a whole, connected, vibrant life. To elaborate on that a little bit, we are exposed to so much toxic load via our physical bodies, via our mental self, and, obviously spiritually you're not connected at that point. So it's just kind of an all-encompassing thing. I live in the city of Chicago, and it's very fast-paced, and I witness this all the time, that people are just disconnected and toxic.
Okay, so what you're noticing is that there's an urge towards, we could say there's an urge to reducing toxic load, but what's in a way that the person who's experiencing that toxic load, and maybe even just like let someone pop into your brain or into your mind's eye, is a better way of saying it, and we'll call this person an avatar. And how are they experiencing this same urge?
Anxiety, physical, health. Their health is depleted. They don't know where they're going, so they kind of chase their tail.
Okay. Great. So you're noticing there's an urge in the marketplace to help people with anxiety and depletion who are chasing their tail or running in circles, right? Due to overstimulation and toxic load.
Right.
Awesome. Good. And you guys notice when I get a little deeper in it, so I'm trying to tie our language into the marketplace language, because where our languages and where the marketplace languages are usually a few worlds apart, it's not our fault. It's normal. Okay. And we're just getting good at articulation. Sam, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Mine would be decreasing the inflammatory state of the body and mind through yoga and diet.
Okay. So you're noticing an urge in the marketplace to reduce inflammation through yoga and diet.
People's guts are inflamed because they don't eat right, and their bodies are inflamed because, our food becomes our bodies. And I live in a super active mountain town in Alaska, and everybody is go, go, go all the time, and they take very little time to nurture and recover and heal their bodies.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you notice an urge in the marketplace for people to heal their guts.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And as they do so, they're going to experience self-nurturance.
Yeah.
There's an urge in the marketplace for people to experience self-nurturance. Right? Yeah? We're
Yeah.
good? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And last one, Chris.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm
Yep.
I'm on via Skype, so okay. I actually work with the military, and what I see is a lot of abuse to the physical body and the mind and the spirit all in one. And what I have found kind of organically is that people don't know how to take care of their bodies because they don't know what it means to actually be in their body. So at least in the kind of the microcosm that I work in, I have found urgency into teaching people how to live in their physical vessel, as well as teaching how to prevent injury through yoga and rehab injury through yoga.
Okay, so now, guys, it's so good. This is so good that we're doing this because we speak in a different language than the marketplace. And this is like this massive disconnect, which is why we're here, why we're having this call, is the urgency you're noticing in the marketplace. And you're noticing this in a particular subsector in the marketplace, which is awesome. Niching is bitching, right? So the urgency that you're noticing is within the military. And that the way that you're experiencing, there's an urge to help people who are in the military heal their body and prevent injury.
Right.
So, or rehab their body and prevent injury.
Yeah.
Great. Just write that down. I think there's something too there that you said about the abuse. I'm not sure if it's tied to addiction, but just a sense of working with, you feel an urge to work with people in the military. And what I'm almost hearing what you're saying is like to actually understand their addictive tendencies and to heal that. Does that resonate?
It is a little. My background is actually in clinical psychology, and I was a clinical therapist for years.
Yeah.
So there's that underlying wanting to help, soothe the mind and the psyche as well as soothe the body for me.
Yeah. Great. So yeah, just noticing that, like that there's an urge in the marketplace, particularly to work with people in the military who are addicted, to have a deeper understanding of what's going on, what's behind the scenes, and to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So you guys, when we say it where it's a mix of where we experience the urge and where the marketplace is, where we're feeling into the need in the marketplace, what we have to get is the marketplace is other than us. It's not where we're at, and it doesn't speak how we speak. It speaks according to where that urge is actually arising in the market. And we'll talk a little bit more about how this goes. So now I want us to actually notice our desire and what do you really want? What does fulfillment look like for you? There's in Proverbs 13:12, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but desire fulfilled is a tree of life. And so what does that feel like? That like in terms of dharma, in terms of like, wow, you know so much. Oh, you have the desire to help. Right? And you feel the urge that's happening in the marketplace. And then go ahead and write that down. That deep desire to help. And there should be a slight, we're just getting clear on some of the differences in language here. And so some of our language here might be something around, I have desire, if we just even go through some of the people who just spoke, I have a desire to help women who've experienced domestic violence deeply heal within and discover the gift of their body, reconnect to and discover the gift of their body. Right? Or I have a desire to work with people in the military who suffer from addiction to help them understand the why behind it and really live a life or shift into a life of deeper alignment. Something like that we just get where our urge is and how we articulate our desire. So the urge in the marketplace, and then where we articulate our desire. I have a desire, like in my dharma, and this is what I want you guys to hear in this, is I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'm going to tell you, though, how it appears in the marketplace, because it's different. So the messaging around yogahealer.com has been, and has always been since 2001, this desire for planetary and personal wellness. Okay, I came in through global warming, politics, and economics. Like that was my entry point into yoga, right? A little different than a lot of people. It's my entry point into Ayurveda. So it's always like planetary first, personal second. Get people connected to their ecosystem. But if I go around, like honestly, like if I were to title my workshop like that, you guys probably wouldn't have come, right? So there's like what is arising in the marketplace that allows me to serve that dharma. So there's a shift between our desire and how we can pick up on the urge that's in the marketplace, that's emerging in the marketplace. Does anyone have questions or need clarification on that? Press 1. I just want to, I didn't tell you guys at the beginning, but this is more of a community call. Sometimes I just like rattle on for 50 minutes. But in this case, I'm looking a little bit more for a conversation. Okay, awesome. Everyone is crystal clear on how the urge in the marketplace and the desire can articulate itself in really different ways. Okay, except for Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Just kidding. How's it going? What can I clarify?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just tuning in, Kate, and I wasn't even pressing the right button.
Oh, okay. That's okay. I can move on.
I'm too new to this whole format, but it's great, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. And then I'm just going to figure out how it works afterwards.
No problem. Glad you're here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kevin. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. How do I speak?
You're speaking.
Oh, great. Hi. Well, this is helping me because I'm kind of re-entering teaching. I guess I believe I did my teacher training in 2001 and with Eric Shipman, and then I went on to get my certificate in training for mat and equipment Pilates, which took a long time, as I was working as a paralegal for over 25 years. And I've just recently been sent over the head by the University of Freeway. And it's really, really time to let go of a long career. And that I feel my heart is completely devoted to wanting to help people have connection with their own bodies and have connection with their communities, because my desire is to really live my belief that we are all one.
Great. That's great. Now, how do you experience that as an urge in the marketplace? Like, how do you pick up on that in the marketplace? And actually, let me just ask you too before you speak. Do you have a headset? Because it's really hard to hear you. Or is there anything you can do so it's better? And you guys in general, if you press 1, just have a good audio. It helps everybody experience more connection.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I'll get a hold of the headset.
Okay, I'm gonna go on. Just press 1 again when you've got it, okay? And we'll pick you back up. Okay, so we've covered this idea that people want a life-changing experience. We've covered this idea that we can pick up on, and as yogis, we're highly attuned to picking up on what is happening in the marketplace. We can notice the urge or the desire for evolution within the marketplace. We also are in tune with how we really want to make an impact, what the urgency and what the desire, how that's showing up. Another way to tap into this is noticing our care. We can notice how much we care. And this helps so much. Like just noticing whenever you feel too, like whenever you feel like, oh, I wish I could make more money, or that, whenever you have a contraction around the value you're exchanging in the marketplace, I want you to flip the switch on that from lack or fear into abundance. And I want you to notice how much you care. And I want you to just feel your care. And you can feel it with like every cell of your body, because this brings you more in connection with what's going on in the marketplace. Okay. And so this idea of exchanging more value in the marketplace, like what does this actually mean? How many of us have trouble asking for payment, have trouble raising rates, have actually like this weird, like queasy feeling when it's time to like ask for the money and when the actual money exchanges hands, right? And if, what I find in a lot of people that come into yoga health coaching or the Yoga Healer business course is that it's like almost everybody that comes in has those issues. And then when they leave, they're done. Like they get it. They're done because they get that the value cannot be exchanged without a transaction, right? I mean, it's kind of redundant, right? That transaction can't be exchanged without transaction. Like what is being transacted? There's a law of reciprocity. We all experience it energetically. When, say you have a friend who just does so many nice things for you and you're like, oh, and you just feel like I owe this person, right? And when you give your work away, you may feel like that person owes me, right? And when we tune into that, that's the law of reciprocity. We've talked about the law of change, how the markets are always changing. Now we're talking about the law of reciprocity, how there has to be an equal exchange. Money is the modern way that we use to exchange. If we have any issues around exchanging money, it's going to be hard for us to exchange more value in the marketplace. It's going to be actually just impossible, right? It's going to be impossible. We may take 2 steps forward, but then we'll take 2 steps back. So we have to get really comfortable with understanding that the way for us to exchange value in the marketplace, the way for us to stay attuned to what's happening in the emergent marketplace is by being willing to exchange value and to being willing to put a number on that value. That's where money's really cool. I know a lot of yoga people are not numbers people. We don't actually attract many accountants, like people going from their accounting career into their yoga or wellness career. We've talked to like hundreds and hundreds of wellness experts and yoga teachers who want to step into deeper abundance. And like, I mean, I think I can count the accountants on one finger. It's just not our deal. But this idea that money is numbers, right? There's a number to it, and that we are assigning a number to the value that can be exchanged. And when we're doing that, we're creating a container for a transaction. If we want to exchange more money in the marketplace, we've got to figure out how to offer more value. And that's what we're really going to get into next. The first way we're going to get clear on how to offer more value is we're going to get clear on our client and future client's desire. Write down this question. What do you really want? Like, what do you really want? And I want you to start asking people that every single day. You can ask the people that you live with. You can ask the people that come to your yoga classes or your wellness sessions. You can ask your friends. You can ask your parents. I want you just to start asking people, what do you really want? And they'll start talking. And then say like, what do you really want? And then what do you really, really want? And I want you to get really clear after you ask that question about 3 times, what it is they want. And then move on and ask the next person. I want you to do this for like the next 2 weeks. Find out what the market wants. In the matrika, or in the words of the marketplace as it's showing up right now. And don't think you know. Because as soon as you think you know, like you're already in disconnect. Right? So just be super curious. A lot of air element, like really curious. I have no idea what this person really wants. This person I've lived with and been married to for 20 years, right? This child of mine who I've raised, or this client that's been coming to my yoga classes for 10 years, right? Like I've never sat down and asked her what she really, really, really wants. We need to know that. Because if we want to exchange more value and more dinero in the marketplace, right, we've got to start to build our career under meeting the deeper wants of our target client in their own words, period, exclamation point. All right, so I have this little slide here that says, it's a picture of the ocean, and it says, actually, I just woke up one day and decided I didn't want to feel like that anymore. I didn't want to feel like that anymore or ever again. So I changed, just like that. So again, actually, I just woke up one day and decided I didn't want to feel like that anymore or ever again. So I changed, just like that. Okay, that doesn't happen, right? That is not, like, for the majority of people, like 99.5% of your clients and future clients, they do not have that experience where they just wake up, decide they don't want to feel like this anymore, and they change, and they're forever changed, just like that. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. People have a hard time changing. So if what they really want, they're not experiencing, they're going to have to change, and it's not going to happen just like that. And we've had some great examples. I'm so glad that we took a few moments to talk to a few of the peeps on the line, and we found out that we have abused women who really deep down, they want to be in their body. They want to be connected in their body. They want to heal. That's in our words. We need to find out what it is in their words. Like, that was in my words. I might be a little closer. I'm not sure. We found out that people in the military are addicted, and they don't know why they're addicted. They don't even know that they're addicted, and that they're using it to cover up some trauma, right? So we need to really get clear that for them to make that shift into deep interconnectivity, into lessening of addiction, so they feel internal wholeness, so they're not just reaching for this, that, and the other thing, right? That there's going to have to be a shift, and it's not going to happen just like that. I mean, I hold that potential for everyone, that it can happen just like that, and it can. We actually have that in the Shiva Sutras, right? That, like, whole idea of, like, waking up all at once, right away. It's just super, super rare. So what we need to do, and I mentioned it before when we went through what the market wants now, and I talked about results and connection and container and guidance and information filter. So let's really get into that right now. And let's look at this idea of how are we going to get results and connection, right? How are we going to deliver guidance? We have to build a journey for someone to get from where they are to where they want to go in their own words, according to their own needs, according to where they're starting at. And then you can add, like, in a way that's sacred, or in a way that's fun, or in a way that, like, something that goes along with your personality. Like my personality, like, I like to have fun. I like to go deep. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to go deep with people. So all of that is the kind of experience that I build in my coursework with people. Like, when people are like, yes, I want to exchange value in the marketplace with you because I want those results, I'm like, sweet. This is the kind of journey we go on because this is how I am. And so you're going to experience some of the I amness of me trying to help you. So what does the journey look like? What does your ship look like that you're onboarding people to and taking them on this journey, and then offboarding them, then releasing them on the other side where they've had the deep shift? And that's what we really want to get creative in. We want to listen a lot to our desire in that. Some of us have a desire to really work in person. Others of us have a desire to work online. I have a desire to do both. So I include retreats in my programs, right? Like, I'm like, great, we're going to do a ton of work over time because I can deliver way more value that way and have the conversation I want to have. And I live in these teeny tiny towns, and no one in my town, not no one, but like very, low numbers of people in my town want to have exactly this conversation, but all these people all over the world want to have it. So we'll have it online most of the time, and then we'll get together a couple times a year, connect, recharge, up level, and then bam, and when we part ways again, like, wow, we have the intensification in the field. It's awesome, right? That's what works for me. I don't know what works for you. But what that journey looks like and what kind of container you build for that experience, right? Because remember, before we talked a little bit about how the idea of what people really want is a life-changing experience. They look at you, you're an agent of transformation, right? Life-changing equals transformation. They want to be transformed. They're not going to say it. Those are not the words they're going to use between you and me and the fence post, right? That's what they want. So what kind of journey are you going to build? That's naturally attuned to how you want to show up. That's your desire. Naturally attuned to the marketplace, what's in demand, right? And attuned to your own personality. All right. So now once we get this, we get that change does not happen just like that. We know that we're attuned to what our core people want, the people that we feel the most desire to help. We know what they want in their own language. We're building the container. We have the ship. We need to teach our clients and our future students how to invest in the transformation. I've been teaching this, I think online free workshops like this. I think I've been teaching this for like at least 2.5 years. And it still blows me away that the typical, like I see a lot of different holistic practitioners. Like I love body work. I love all these different kind of like energy things. And I love getting, realigned in this way or that way. I have an intense life and I love to receive healing work from healers. And so what I'm often surprised at is how this is not like, and this is part of the urgency that I experience in the marketplace and why we're on the horn today, is because I don't see typical yoga teachers, healers, wellness experts teaching their clients how to invest in the end results that they want. Okay, I do not see yoga teachers, healers, and wellness experts teaching their clients how to invest in the results they want. Exclamation point. And that is a tragedy because we're leaving it up to our student or client to figure out how to invest through us to get the results they want, but they're unprepared because they don't know the other side. They don't really know what's possible. They don't know how to get there. They don't know how to get you to exchange more value with them in the marketplace. And it's our job. It's not their job. It's our job. That's why if we're self-employed, we need career training. We need to know not just on the modality side of how to help people, but we actually need training in how to exchange value in the marketplace, like in how to run our career as a business, because at the end of the day, if you're self-employed, you have your own business, right? That's why you file taxes. You don't file W-2s. Okay. So we need to teach our students how to invest. Let's talk about this. All sales happen through personal contact. So once there's someone that comes in, we see what's going on. Maybe it's a woman who suffered abuse. Maybe she has really poor self-care practices. Maybe she has a lot of fear. Maybe she has a lot of addiction that she's using to pacify some of that fear. Right? Maybe she doesn't have any breath body practices, right? Self-care, nurturing practices. Maybe she doesn't have good food habits. Like there's a lot going on here. And we leave it up to her to call us when it's time to come back. No. That's a disservice. What we do is we sit her down and we find out what she really, really, really wants in her own words. And if we can help her, we build that container, we build that journey, that ship to go from A to B. And then we teach her like, this is possible. We can get you there. It's probably going to take this amount of time. And you've got to want this more than anything else, or you're not going to do the work. And if she says, I want this more than anything, I want to do the work, we start talking about what it's going to cost her to not do the work. What is it currently costing her to be where she's at? Because we want to exchange numbers in the marketplace. So we need to figure out a number that we can show up. So the law of reciprocity is equal, that we can actually get her to the end results that we know are possible for her. So that she knows what this investment is costing her. And she knows the cost of not investing. And this all happens before we even talk about a number in terms of what our number is for the journey. Some of you guys are going to have to listen to this audio, honestly, 3 times because there's so much in here. And it's important to just let it start to sink in and sink in and sink in. If she knows what it's costing her to not take the journey, to not go through the process, because this process is going to demand her to change, right? It's going to demand her own evolution. And it's probably not going to happen just like that. It could, but probably not, right? There's going to be some work. There's going to be some resistance. There's going to be some friction. There may even be some crises. There may even be a breakdown before there's a breakthrough. If we look at our own path, we can often see oh yeah, that happened to me. Oh, that happened to you too. Oh, interesting. That's a pattern in how humans evolve, right? And maybe in our work, we can really create a super safe container so that any of the breakdown happens in a space that feels okay for it to happen, for the old to fall away and for the new to emerge. So what I want you to get in this is that the sale, that the exchange of value in the marketplace, that for us to even determine a number and to be able to even make an offer, we need to know what it's costing the person to stay where they are. And we actually need to know that in a numeric value. And that's very hard to determine, and it's somewhat subjective, right? But the problem is, if the person doesn't know what it's costing her, in this case, this woman, if she doesn't know what it's costing her to not take the journey with the healer, with the yoga teacher, with the wellness expert, then she's not going to be likely to invest in herself. She's not going to be likely to invest in the journey to get to where she really wants to go. And so this whole idea that all sales or all these transactions or exchanges happen through personal contact, we have to have a personal relationship. We have to really find out what they want. We have to really ask ourselves if we can help get them there. We have to determine the value. And at that point, an exchange can happen, right? At that point, we can start to exchange more value in the marketplace. And the beauty of the value is it's like, will you get paid more? Yes, on the one hand. And on the other hand, you will exchange more value. Like you will actually give more and give deeper. And that is such a powerful concept to really get that if you're not doing this, you're not able to give as much as you want to give because you don't have the container for it to be received. And you haven't gone through the price point experience with a client to find out what it really is costing her so that she can invest in a level where she'll do the work to change. Okay, so once the value's been determined, exchange is happening in the marketplace, we've built the container for the transformation to happen. We can actually, and this is something that's a key to what I've experienced as a better way to do this, is we can recruit a group of people, one person at a time, so that we can build a very powerful group experience, a group container, so the person feels supported, not just by you, but supported by a group. And we can create group commitments and group guidelines that help people support each other. As the wellness expert, this is a way for you also to start to leverage your time for impact, which becomes increasingly important. So that's one reason to do it. Like that's on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's like when I see something work, it usually works on multiple levels. It usually just doesn't work for one person. And this is part of that law of reciprocity. It's going to work for you. It's also going to work better for them. It's going to be work better for the group who starts to feel the support, who starts to feel that they're not in it alone, who sees other people having the breakdown before the breakthrough. And in that, it starts to feel so human. I've had 2 conversations in the last 24 hours of people telling me this, and I'm not going to use quotes, but it's something along like this. I didn't realize that everybody has the same resistance. I didn't realize that this work is hard for everybody and that it's not so personal to me anymore. I've heard that twice in the last 24 hours, right? In a group, people can have that experience. And it's harder to have that experience outside the group. Once people have that experience, they start to become much more kinder and gentler to themselves, much more supportive to other people. They start to enter deeper connectivity, right? And in Ayurveda, we know that like connectivity, the connected field is our immune system. The interconnected field is our social immune system. It's amazing. Okay, so once we have the container, we're on the journey, we've got our group together, we want to steer the conversation. Like we are in charge of getting the ship from this, from this coast to the other coast, right? So we've really got to steer, and we've got to steer the integrity of the conversation, how things happen, how things go down. Make sure that the group, because the group will have a strong energy, that it doesn't pull back to like the least common denominator, right? But that we actually are really steering forward towards progress. And when we have a specific journey, that's the container that we've created, right? And it's action oriented. We're asking people to take actions. We're getting them committed to taking those actions. We're working together as a group so people can move forward. And we're specifying that we're here for results. Like we're here to actually be in this journey together, which is process, but be moving towards results together. Then that is a container in which people can evolve much, much more quickly. And once we do that, we actually are getting people to the other side. We start to realize that there's now a lot of attraction, meaning that because we're exchanging more value in the marketplace, because we're attuned to the natural urge in the marketplace as it's showing up right now in the words of our future clients and present clients, that we start to get a lot of referrals. Other people want to do this journey with us. Right? Other people say like, hey, I need that. My friend did that, and I have the same sort of history and background, and when's the next program? And so we start to naturally create a referral engine. When we have a finger on the pulse in the marketplace, when we're getting results for our clients, other people notice the shift. And those people that want that same shift, they know that this is a container, this is a journey, that this works, and it's easier, much, much easier to invest. Okay. So what does that mean in terms of like drop-in yoga classes or drop-in, body work sessions? To me, it means like it's either all lead generation into the group experience, deeper transformation, exchanging value at a higher price point. So having higher dollar programs that maybe anywhere, like for those of you who are rookies, might be in the like $500 range. For those of you who have put in your 10,000 hours, my guess is it's starting at least the $1,000 range, and can go anywhere up to, I've seen it successfully go up to the $50,000 range. Most of you will have this like money contraction thing when I say that. So we'll just say the $1,000 to $10,000 range, or maybe for you, it's the $1,000 to $5,000 range, right? Deep investment, deep transformation, personal contact throughout the sales process, a deep journey to the other side. When that starts to happen, a lot of my courses, I remember when I first started selling courses, I first sold a $1,000 course 8 years ago. It changed my life. I made $20,000. And it was so leveraged, like it didn't, I'm like trying to think back to my first Ayurvedic living course, and the year my daughter, it was the year my daughter was born. So I think it was like 2007 through 2008. So it was 8 years ago. And it instantly just inflated my income and I got to have a much deeper conversation. I got to have the conversation I really, really wanted to have. And I saw much better results than I'd ever seen than I had in the previous 7 years of working as an Ayurvedic practitioner and yoga teacher. I was like, holy cow, this is a blast. Right? And so now my courses go from there up to they actually go up to about $10,000. Right? And they're group programs. It's a lot of leverage. It's a lot of leverage. Right? But what happens on the other side is my clients come back and they're like, I got 1,000% ROI. I got 1,000% back more than what I put in. Like, that's huge. It's huge. No Roth IRA is going to give you that kind of percentage. At most, you're going to get 7%. When you start exchanging more value in the marketplace because you have an ear to the urge of the market, your income can go, and you start investing in yourself to learn the missing skills that you might not have. You might not have sales skills. You might not have marketing skills. You might not have good copywriting skills. Like, there might be massive gaps, right? Which is why it's important to invest in the training that you need to fill in those gaps so that you can exchange more value in the marketplace. But when that happens, you're able to use your healing modalities on such a different level with people. You're going to do the most deeply satisfying work of your life in groups and one-on-one, right? And what you're going to experience is, oh my gosh, I can provide so much value to people. And because you're providing so much more value to people on such a deeper level, you're going to get that value right back in your bank account. And this is how it works. So to me, I see business and the business side for healers and yogis as a self-growth journey. I see it that way for everyone. I have a lot of friends that are not in the wellness industry. Most of my friends now are more like, kind of like me, like solopreneurs offering a transformational experience. But I'm the only of my, core friends, like in that group, I'm the only one who's in the wellness industry. Others are experiencing it, are doing their work in very different industries. But they all experience their business as a self-growth journey, very, very similar to what we find on the yogic path. Something has to die, right? The caterpillar has to die in a way, right? It has to let go of being a caterpillar. It can no longer show up in that form for there to be a chrysalis. The chrysalis has to transform in order for there to be a butterfly, right? And that's just the nature of transformation. You will go through that same transformation as you help your clients go through that deeper transformation and have more of an organized system around how that happens. So business has its own path. All right. So I told you at the end I was going to make an offer. I'm going to make an offer for anyone who wants to talk about like what are those missing skills that they're going to need in order to exchange more value in the marketplace, to go and talk to Alex Biondo, she does free consultations for me here at yogahealer.com and yogahealthcoaching.com. So just go to yogahealer.com/strategy, and you're going to fill out that form. Take time to fill out that form, and she'll get back to you and schedule a time to sit down and really talk to you about like what is going on, what are your deeper wants, and what is keeping you from exchanging the value that you want to be exchanging in the marketplace. Okay, and then from there, maybe you and I will have a conversation after that. We'll see. But you will love talking. You will love talking to Alex. She's like the easiest person to talk to. She's super smart, and she really gets how we have to make changes in ourselves in order to exchange more value in the marketplace. She's gone through a lot of transformation with that herself. So again, go to yogahealer.com/strategy, STRATEGY. And I'm going to make one more little announcement, and then we'll just open for Q&A because I have time and I love to connect. So the other announcement is that in Yoga Health Coaching, we do all of this business stuff, all of this niching stuff, all of this shifting to understanding what the market wants. If you're a yoga teacher or wellness expert and you want a complete overhaul of your business model and you want to earn $20,000 to $60,000 a year more, apply for it. Go to yogahealthcoaching.com/apply, and we'll start to send you information on what that actually looks like, and then we'll talk to you, see if you're a really good fit, and we can help you get to your goals. So again, that's yogahealthcoaching.com/apply. And, again, I'm results oriented. I do this work to get people results. That's what I'm most interested in. So just press 1. Now, if you have anything that came up to me that you just want to check in about, comment on, or ask a question about, I'll stay on the line to connect. And if you need to go, I've really enjoyed speaking with you all. I'm glad you came, and I just wish you the best as you really follow your heart's desire to meet the needs of the changing market. Sam, hi.
Hi, Kate. I have been following you for a while, and I did make a statement earlier about helping people with their inflammation, but you are super freaking awesome, and I just love everything about you, and I wanted to say that this time that I said that. But I also had a question. You gave 5 points at the beginning about, the container, relating it to mountain guides, which totally resonates with me because that's where I live. And the information filter and the life-changing experience, and then I didn't write down the first 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like 5.
And you guys we'll send you the slides. Results, container.
Okay, yeah.
Connection, guidance, and information filter.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks for the love. I appreciate that.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Alina. Oops, hold on, Alina.
It's Alex, and you're right, she is awesome. I spoke with Alex earlier last week, and I'm very much looking forward to getting more in tune with your program and possibly taking it. I'm looking forward to the Yoga Health Coaching Insider Scoop that she said she would send me that I'm yet to see. I don't know if that's something I was supposed to reference on my own, or if she said an email or something, which not sure where the disconnect happened, but at any rate, I want to correct it.
Yeah, I will send that to you. What's your email?
Alina,
no, actually, don't give it to me over the phone. Just email me your info at CATE at Yoga Heal. I'll give you guys my email over the phone, but I don't want everyone to have to expose their email. So CATE at yogahealer.com, and we'll get you the Insiders Scoop videos. And then if you have any other questions too, just email me and we can hop on the phone and make sure it's an awesome fit. I mean, this is the thing, you guys, like, as healers and as yogis, like, we have such good hearts. We have so much care, and we always want to make sure when we're exchanging value in the marketplace, especially at a higher investment level where the person's going to have to do a lot of deep transformation and a lot of work, and we really want to help them get there, that like we add that personal touch, So I just hope you can see that, like, that's what I want you to do. It'll help you so much, and I just want to demonstrate that with Alina. It's just a great opportunity. Okay, so
Great.
CATE
Thank
at
you.
yogahealer.com. Yeah, you bet.
Got it.
Shannon.
Appreciate it. You have to-
Oops, sorry. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
Did you
So I
press
had a
one?
question about, yeah, what? Sorry?
Yeah, go right ahead. What's your question?
So if you work with people that are low income, if that's sort of your goal, like with the women that have been through domestic violence, I started volunteering at a domestic violence shelter. But I know, especially when you're talking about reciprocity and transaction value, that it sort of devalues it to just give it away free. But there is, how do you find a place for paying attention to where they're at financially as well until they can catch the beauty of what it's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds like you need to do some, honestly, like you need to do some market research. It has to hurt you guys. There's this thing like the person has to feel the rub, right? In yoga, we call it tapas, right? The person has to feel the rub or they're not going to do the work and we're going to get exhausted because we're putting in more than they're putting in. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to invite you to do some market research with that and find out like where is that friction point in your median, in the market where, like, what's the median in the market where there's that friction point. And this is the thing too with money, like there's a saying like it's never about the money. When people really want deep transformation, they can find ways to invest in themselves. I always see it really clearly within my market. Like there's a lot of people like, I don't have the money. And it's like, oh no, you don't want the transformation bad enough because the money's in the marketplace. Like the money's already in the marketplace, like finding out where it is. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be really key for you in this work with them is to really find out like, where's that place that is the rub for them.
Cool.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to give you a number, but it's just got to, like, they've got to wince. Right. And then honestly, you only need to do this a few times to find out what the price is, because you'll know pretty quickly. Like if Janet, if like Jeanette can do it, but Shauna can't, and Jeanette has the most transformational experience of her life, and she starts to increase her own value in the marketplace. So she's able to either earn more or provide more value in other ways. Right. And she gains her self-confidence and whatnot, like, and it starts to pay back tenfold for her. And that's usually what we're looking for, is at least a tenfold return on investment. Right. And it worked for, it's like, it worked for, I can't remember who I said it worked for. It worked for Jeanette, but Shauna wasn't willing to connect. Right. Then, like, oh, my price point's fine. Right. Because it just separated the people who are going to show up and really do the work from those that just want the results without having to put in the effort.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. And you guys can continue to post questions on this. Like, questions are going to perk up in the next few days. Just post them. Go to facebook.com/yoga healer, and I'll tune in. And I'll also put the actual webinar video up there too with the slides in case anyone wants to just see it with the slides or share it with a friend. Heather, hi.
Oh, hey, Kate. How are you?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so I guess my question is more along the lines of the difference between the Yoga Healer coaching class and the Yoga Healer business class. So, as a massage therapist, is it sort of one and the same, but one is more geared toward those who are not yoga instructors and one is not? Or I feel very vague in the understanding of the difference.
The difference between, so we have a few different programs here, and one of them is the Yoga Healer Business Course, and the other is the Yoga Health Coaching. And both these programs like fill in the gaps that we talked about today around like the money and about the niching and about building the container and all that. The difference between the two courses is basically this. In the business course, people have a signature system inside them. They have this, like, I have a method and a system inside me that I want to use, and I just need to get it out. Or they have a system that they've already developed and they're not making money on it. And they need some work on some of the, how they're selling, or how they're marketing, or maybe they're actually not meeting the right demand. Like their course is kind of awesome, but doesn't actually meet the market. So it's not that awesome because it can't be exchanged in the marketplace without some tweaking. And so any of those issues where the person already has their own system is the Yoga Healer Business Course. And you guys, Alex can go over this with anyone. If you go to yogahealer.com/strategy and you fill that form out, and we know what you want in terms of how much you want to up-level your income, how much you want to up-level your impact, where your certain issues are along the way, whether it's in sales, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in just basic skills with your clients, etc. Now, yoga health coaching is me basically saying like, hey, from 15 years of being an Ayurvedic medicine practitioner, this is the way I find that we can accelerate people's wellness journey. And I take Ayurveda and I distill it into 10 habits. I bring in habit change science, how you actually get people to change habits in real time, and then how to build evolutionary group dynamics into your program so that you really do accelerate the wellness path of your clients. And it's geared for, we have body workers, we have Chinese medicine people, we have a ton of yoga teachers, obviously. We even have allopathic doctors and nurses in there who just really want to exchange value in terms of accelerating people's wellness along the lines of incorporating the Ayurvedic habits, which are, the habits, you guys, are simple, right? It's this whole idea of like early to bed, early to rise, breath body practices, meditation, plant-based diet, like all these habits from Ayurveda. How do you get people to implement them in real time? And so they experience a deep shift and they know how to maintain it. And so that's really what it's about. Because we all know there's a big difference between information and transformation. So the beauty of yoga health coaching is it's like you don't have to come up with your own system. You get to experience it for yourself. Then you get trained in using it. You start selling. Like we have people making 3 times their tuition back in the first 6 months because they can start to learn the system and go and start their first group usually within 6 months of starting the training. So it's a little bit more accelerated. In the Yoga Healer Business Course, which is where you create your own signature system, I have a few of the most recent people to join are musicians who wanted to stop traveling so much. Like they're just like on the road all the time and they have these young kids and they're like, just want to do deeper work than just showing up on stage and having this more, honestly, like not superficial relationship with their fans, but it was just really limited in the way that they could exchange value. And so they have both developed their own signature system, and it is centered around their music as healing work and bringing people through a deeper transformation. And they are so happy. They can't believe how much is shifting their life. They're able to, work on their own terms instead of just like where the next gig is. And they're able to have that deeper work with their either the clients that they want to attract. And so that's where it's like if you have a real creative original drive, that's what the business course is for.
Okay. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, sure. All right. And it looks like our last one is Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hi. So going back to kind of being able to put a monetary value on what you're doing, it honestly is because I am so I'm in that niche, and right now I'm living overseas. In 6 months that'll change, so my marketplace will be a lot bigger, and I'm actually looking forward to it. But when you're working with such a specialized group who's used to getting everything for free, and that is my median point, it is free, how do you actually, convince people or attract people who have the mindset of, well, because I'm in the military, this service should be free for me. Now, the clients that I have been able to attract will pay just about anything I ask them to because they are thrilled with what they've gotten. But trying to pull from that pool is very, very difficult. And I was wondering if you had any information, suggestions, strategies of how to do that when you have a population that's very specialized and very resistant to paying for anything.
Okay. So when we look at this and and actually if you can get a headset, that'd be awesome. But I get your question. So let me just start from there. So I need to mute because for some reason we've got some feedback on the line. Okay. So this is the question. The question is if people are used to getting what I give for free, then how can I change that? So then I can start to exchange, dollars for value in the marketplace, or dollars for transformation. Oh, that's a good question. I love that question. And one of the things that comes up immediately for me is, what's free? Right? So my guess is they're getting something for free. Maybe they have, if they're in the military, like all their medical, including like psychological medical, maybe that's all covered. Right? So they're not having to pay for that. But what I sense that you're sensing, Chris, is that they're not getting the value they want from that, which is why you sense the urge arising from the marketplace. Is that true? That they're not actually getting the value?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. So now that we've established that, we know... Oh, I got to mute again. Now that we've established that, we know that what we have to exchange is not actually being exchanged for free in the marketplace. And it's so important for those of us who are doing this. And, I just want to call attention to like those of you who stay for class, after class for 15 minutes to talk to your students who like, oh, I have the shoulder issue, or, oh, I have congestion in my left sinus, or that kind of thing. And we stay after class and we just offer one-on-one advice for free. And maybe we say we're community building or this and that. But we're not. We're like really, maybe we are, but what we're also doing is offering one-on-one advice for free. Is that like we actually have to really decide if the person can receive that advice for free. In my experience, the stuff that I invest time, energy, and money into is where I extract value from the marketplace. So I need to invest, either time or energy or money to extract that value. So, Chris, I would look at that as like, if what they're getting is not actually results, not the results that you know they could get, and you're tapping into that knowing as the knowing of the of their evolutionary potential and the evolutionary potential in the marketplace. Right? There's a potential for more. There's a potential for these people in military who have addiction, who have like really not much connection between their actions and how they feel, right? And that's something that you really bring to the table. That's not actually being exchanged. So then how do you get them interested in investing so that they can extract that value from the marketplace? Right? That's really the question, right?
Basically, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So again, it goes, and just listen to this whole workshop again, because you'll hear it differently the second time. I really promise this. Everyone, like, listen to it again. I'll give you the audio and the webinar versions of it. So just like listen to it again, and it's going to sink in deeper and deeper. Is we have to listen to the market. That question of, what do you really want? I want to task you with having 10 conversations this week with different people who you look at them and you're like, I can help them. I have the desire to help. Like, where you feel that care and you feel that need. Like yesterday I was with Alex. I was in Colorado for a meeting with Alex, who's the head of admissions at Yoga Healer, and we spent the day together. And we were going into this really nice restaurant for lunch, and this woman came down the stairs who was very overweight and was very unstable on her feet, who clearly had a lot of AMA and had joint pain and probably some degenerative issues in her bones. That was like my 2-second analysis, right? And I just feel the urge. Like, I just feel it as an urge. Like, oh, I want to help people be AMA free. It is so fun to not have AMA. Like, it is so fun to not have toxicity in our system. And I just feel it, right? I don't, offer her anything or say anything to her. But if I did, right, if she was a potential client, I would just sit down and schedule a time and say, like, hey, I want to do some market research. Okay? Like, I love to help people in the military who really just want the next I wouldn't even say that. I just want to help people in the military. I would just keep it that simple. Can we just sit down and can I just ask you a few questions? And then you start by asking the question, like, hey, what do you really want? In terms of your life right now. And then you just honestly get really nosy and you keep writing it down. And what's going to happen, Chris, is soon there's these triggers that are going to go off in your head that are like, oh, that's that's where I'm seeing the addiction show up, or that's where I'm seeing the relationship issues show up, or that's where I'm seeing that they don't know how to invest. Like they know how to invest in Jim Beam, or Johnny Walker, or Paul Mall, right? Like they know how to invest in that, but they don't know how to invest in what they really want. And the more you listen to them in their own language, you're going to start to be able to then design an experience. And you can even co-create it with a few of them if you find there's some interest in like, hey, why are you asking me that? What are you doing? And you can say, I'm looking to help people in the military, and I'm going to be running this pilot program. Let me know if you're interested. And you might, in that experience, find a few people that are like, yeah, I'm really curious. Like, do you think I could have all those things that I just said I wanted? And if you think that they can through working with you, you could say, yeah, that's what I'm going to design this pilot program to do. If you want, I can let you know what when I get a few more people that are having the same needs, that we can really build a really strong transformational experience for you, I can let you know, and we can talk about what the investment will be. Would you like to be on that list? How's that sound, Chris?
Okay. That sounds perfect. That makes complete sense. And I'm like ready to run out the door and do it now.
Yay. You guys, that makes my heart just swell, right? Because there is such a gap between what we know and what most people know, right? In terms of how to take care of themselves, how to shine, how to connect. And, I just want to say too, like at any point, if anyone feels like, okay, I get what you taught in this workshop and I need help. Like I need help with the sales conversations. I need help with the marketing, like whatnot. You might want to be in one of our courses where you get to be in a really strong, powerful container. You get to be in a group and work through this and up-level really up-level your ability to exchange value in the marketplace. And go to yogahealer.com/strategy. It's what we do. People in our courses get an awesome return on investment, and they have a blast just being in connection with other people that really want to, help others and transform and evolve in themselves and evolve in the marketplace through their, really starting to run their career in terms of the business side of it. All right, y'all. Thanks for staying on. Sending you just a ton of love. And also just kudos to you for your care and doing this work in the world. All right. I'm going to say namaste and have a great day. Bye.
Kate. Hello, Kate.
Yeah.
Kate?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Kevin. Hi. I am not able to find your Facebook page for one reason or another. I find a lot of peripheral stuff, but I believe not right on the page you suggested. So could you give me that address again while I'm in Facebook?
Yeah, facebook.com. And even if you just type in the Facebook search, if you just type in Yoga Healer, it's one word. YOGAHEALER.
Oh, one word. That's why I'm not getting it. Okay, great. And I actually would love to talk with you more about your programs. But I'm in a kind of a challenging position right now, having been through a third layoff in my industry and trying to navigate getting into my desired career path of fully teaching yoga and also Pilates for transformation. That's my desire and goal. But making that huge leap when I'm just trying to take care of my basic needs.
Yep. Yeah. So go to yogahealer.com/strategy and really just get that all down on our form, press submit, and we'll get in touch with you. Okay, Kevin?
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful webinar.
Awesome. I'm so glad. And
right.
Anu, you pressed one too. So Anu, if you want to, I'll stay on if you wanted to ask something that I hadn't covered.
You know what? I thought that you were going to finish the talk, and I just pressed to say thank you to you. But I'm glad that you just asked me. I think I've been picked just like I think the universe energies want me to speak something today. So I am going to share one thing that I loved what you have said, and I'm actually struggling with this studio. One of my friends, I'm helping her to build their studio, and the people are, we don't have much people around, but I try to bring my Ayurvedic yoga teacher training there, but and I encountered many people with different mindsets, but I'm very like a traditional and very Vedic style. My teachings are very like, should I say, Vedic styles, and I believe in with a very root cause. I really dwell my energies to build the connections with others. So I don't know where I'm lacking, but I think as an Indian, and also I have learned a lot of things here also in America, where from Kripalu and the different places. I hear a lot, but my soul, my heart is so connected with the things that people are missing more to the soul to soul and the care as we are talking, and I think we all are feeling that at once. But how I can build this business, because I feel like I talk to from my heart and I try to help people from my heart, but it's not working when the money comes in. So that's very.
So it's because I hear it, you guys, and this is what I'm trained to do. Just like a lot of you are trained to like see imbalances. Right? I see business imbalances in people. You know how to help them. I have no doubt, but you don't know what they want in their own words and where they're actually starting from. And so there is a gap. And in that gap, there's no ability for exchange to occur. There's a disconnect. And you know from your Ayurvedic studies that when there's disconnect in the body, it shows up as dis-ease, right? It's like, it's no good. It first shows up as vata imbalance. There's a lack of connection. So for you to really reach out and talk to people and find out, what do you really want? And hear them in their own words and really see where they're starting from. I've seen a lot of Indian Ayurvedic doctors and practitioners in this country really not understand American culture, so they're not able to exchange as much value. But when you really see what they want and say like, well, what's the one thing, if I were them and I had those habits and patterns, what's the one thing that would save my skin or save my ass right now, right? Like, what is that one thing that, like, if I could just choose from my entire portfolio of wellness tips and tricks and modalities, like, what is the one thing I would do? And then just start working with them from there. And I promise you, if you do that, there's going to be a lot more connectivity and there's going to start to be more referrals.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. Such a good soul. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, Anu. And best of luck to you. Okay, everyone that stayed till the end, you guys are the winners. Awesome. Goodbye. And you can say goodbye and we'll all hear you. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.